Guys, I realized after shooting the video that my mic wasn't turned on. Oh my god. But it's all right. There's going to be a lot of dramatic pauses. So, pro tip, you know how it goes. Watch the video in 2 times speed, sit back, relax, and enjoy. I know a lot of you watching this video are resellers just based on the audience that I have gained from my most recent videos doing reselling. And I was just like you maybe a few years ago. And now I don't do that stuff anymore. I barely do the traditional reselling. Maybe once in a while when I have to sell my personal items or any quick opportunity that comes about. But all in all, I've transitioned to being a consigner reseller more than doing traditional reselling. And it's really changed my life and the things that I get to enjoy now. So in this video, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a story time. We're going to go over exactly how I basically went from a traditional reseller to a consigner reseller. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to do a story time on how I basically went from being a traditional reseller to a consigner reseller. So sit back and relax and enjoy the video. All right. So if you don't know me, my name is Terry, right? I am a consigner reseller. I've been doing this for 1 year, just 1 year, and I've made $250,000 in my first year. And I was able to build a six-figure business in 1 year. And I learned a lot. I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm here to share my knowledge and not gatekeep anything. And if you're wondering why I'm looking down, I got a book and I got like some talking points here. Yeah. Yeah, so I got a book with some talking points like a dickhead. And the first talking point that I wrote down was to introduce yourself and briefly mention where you were in your reselling journey, right? So if you don't know me, my name is Terry. I'm from New York City. I just graduated college. I'm 23 years old, and I've been reselling almost all my life. I've been doing this since I was in high school, and it's the first way I got a taste of the money, right? And the attractiveness of traditional reselling was the hustle. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the air in New York City, but everyone was a hustler. People say New York City is the land of the opportunity, and everyone was hustling, right? So it was just natural for me to go down that path because everyone around me was doing it. And yeah, it was exciting when you were doing it with your friends. It was the independence was a plus. Reselling was something that you had to go out in person and get products back in the days, like Supreme. You had to go line up for it. Like Yeezys, you had to go line up for it. You know what I mean? So it was independence at an early age. Like I was in high school doing reselling, and I was just leaving the house and not coming back until like midnight. And my parents were cool with it because they knew I was out there reselling and not like doing drugs or whatever. You know what I mean? And yeah, so reselling was my first moment where I realized there is a better way to just the traditional 9 to 5 grind, right? Because like I'm Asian, and Asian parents, they always go like, "Oh, get a good job, study hard, become a doctor," like stuff like that. And hold on, I'm gonna put on my AirPods. It's very loud. And yeah, so traditional reselling was my first taste of the money, and it helped me realize that there was a better way to the traditional 9 to 5, which is ironic because now I've realized that there is a better way to traditional reselling, which is consigner reselling. So, next thing I got on the list is to talk about your experience with traditional reselling, highlight the pros. Yeah, like I'm reading a script like a dickhead, all right? All right. So highlight the pros, right? So the game was definitely different back in high school for me, which was like a few years back. People had to line up and really hustle for their money. And some of the pros I can just name out is that there was immediate cash flow. It was buying and selling. You buy something and then you sell it and you instantly get that money back. I remember I would line up for Yeezys, buy it, walk out of the Adidas store, and there would be people across the street like vultures just waiting for you to come out the store, and they come up to you and they're like, yo, how much you want? How much you want? Let me buy. And then I would sell it to them like literally the second I get it, like right outside the store, like a dickhead. Like the employees are probably watching like, oh man, another reseller. Look at this guy just selling it out the store. But yeah, immediate cash flow. And most importantly is the skill that you learn, the commerce skill, learning how to buy and sell. That is like one of the most important skills that comes with reselling. And I know a lot of you watching this know exactly what I'm talking about. You're able to buy things for the low and sell it for higher. And it's something that really baffled my parents because my parents are first generation immigrants, right? They barely speak English properly. And you can imagine, oh my goodness, my laptop is shaking like crazy. Yeah, you can imagine how they felt when they saw their son, their minor son in high school, just like making thousands of dollars just like selling things that they bought. Like how did you end up buying this for this price? They would always ask me like, how do you get your stuff for this low of a price and then you're able to sell it for more? Like it doesn't make sense to them. But like for us resellers, it just makes sense. Like it just comes naturally. Like Nike shoes for 200 bucks. Oh yeah, this is gonna sell for 500, bro. We know. Supreme hoodie for 200 bucks. Oh yeah, it's going for 300 bucks. Because it's like a box logo, right? Like we know like box logos are gonna sell for a hell of money and retails, whatever. But like our parents or people that aren't in reselling and they don't really understand the game, they're like, what is a box logo? It's like Pokemon cards. Like who the fuck buys Pokemon cards? You know what I mean? But like if you know, you know. If you sell Pokemon cards, you know like, oh yeah, this is going for hella money. But then like people outside the market are like, bro, this is stupid. It's just like a printed card that's selling for thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? But then there are also the cons of reselling that I want to talk about. And it's like handling inventory. Like handling inventory was a big issue for me because I used to live in a project building with my family, right? So we didn't have that much space. And I would have like piles of shoe boxes and bags of like clothes and stuff. And it would just like take up so much space that you could barely walk like in our hallway because I would keep it like in front of the hallway, like off to the side, and it would like overflow in front of the hallway, and it would like stop people from like walking through the hallway. And yeah, that was an issue. What else? I got dealing with customers, right? Because I don't know if you see my other video, but like this guy got robbed for his Amiri jeans. Like the guy put them on and ran off with it. But like I never got robbed before, but like just dealing with customers, it's just such an annoyance. Like you have to meet up with them. You gotta schedule a time. You gotta take the train there in New York, and then last minute they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bro. Something came up. I can't come." So then you're just like you're just outside like a dickhead. And yeah, dealing with customers and like having to constantly hustle to make a sale. Like you have to like make a post on Facebook Marketplace. You have to make a listing on eBay. You have to make a listing on StockX. You gotta like list this and list that. And like every day you just gotta wake up and like, all right, I need to sell this. How do I sell this? I gotta find someone to buy this. You know what I mean? It's so annoying. I'm sure you get it because my audience now is like a bunch of resellers. And then let's talk about 101s like replicas, right? How I got into that. So I okay, first I know that replicas are illegal and counterfeits are illegal. I don't encourage anyone to resell counterfeits, you know. It's illegal, Kappa. But yeah, so I'll just tell you my story. I started buying counterfeits from China. Okay, that sounds bad, bro. I should not be saying that. I started wearing one to ones in high school because it was a very cheap alternative. You know what I mean? Like nowadays, Hellstar sells their t-shirts for 300 bucks, but you could get the same shirt for 30 bucks off China. And it might not be real, but it does its job. And for me, my favorite brand was Stone Island, right? So Stone Island was so expensive. Like a hoodie is like 500 bucks or something. I don't even know. But I could get a hoodie for 40 bucks off China, and it does the same thing. Like it feels good, it looks good, feel good, look good. Like I was happy with it. I didn't give a fuck, bro. Like, you know, one of the main concerns of wearing replicas is people being scared that someone's gonna call you out and be like, "Oh, you're wearing fakes." But for me, like I didn't give a fuck, bro. Like if I felt good, like if I looked good, I felt good. You know what I mean? Like even though my shit fake, bro, nobody knew. Like, and if someone called me out, I would just like deny, deny, deny. And what are they gonna do? Like stop me and like I don't know, some dumb shit. But yeah, I didn't give a fuck. So I was just buying hella Stone Island because it was my favorite brand and I looked good. You know what I mean? And I didn't. I went to a specialized high school in Manhattan, and no disrespect, but like it's just a bunch of nerds. You know what I mean? Like I didn't go to like New Utrecht High School where it's like bunch of bunch of like drippy fashion up. But like I didn't go to FIT or nothing. Like I went to like one of those math and science, read a book type shit kind of high school. So like I stood out like a sore thumb. Like there was like only like a couple of people that are actually like wearing Supreme. How do I say this? Okay, so there's Brooklyn Tech High School, right? And Brooklyn Tech High School is a bunch of like degenerates, not degenerates, but like hype beasts. They always wear like Supreme, fucking Gucci, all that stuff. And that's Brooklyn Tech High School. You know what I mean? But I went to Stuyvesant High School, and it's like completely different, right? It's a bunch of like book nerds, and they love to read and stuff, and like do math and all that stuff. Like no disrespect, because I went to that high school. Like I love Stuyvesant High School. Like I owe a lot to that high school because they taught me like everything I know. Like I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't go to that school. So, but yeah, what I'm trying to get, what I'm trying to get at, like my point is basically wearing counterfeits. Okay, I don't want to say counterfeits. Wearing replicas gave me a sense of uniqueness. You know what I mean? Like, not many people was wearing hypebeast things in high school, in my high school at least, and I was able to wear expensive clothes or look expensive without really spending that much money. So I like fell in love with wearing replicas. I would wear like replica Stone Island, replica Supreme, just like everything. You know what I mean? Like I was like the hype beast without having to actually spend the money. So I was so lit. I was so lit. I was happy. You know, if you're happy, you're happy. Like I don't give a fuck, bro. Like it doesn't matter. Okay, I get a little off track, but yeah. So yeah, that's how I got into wearing replicas, and I never really resold replicas, but like I knew how to source the product, and that came from being a reseller. You know what I mean? Like the whole commerce thing that we talked about earlier. Like you know how to source items that people want for a good price, and that's basically what I was doing. I was sourcing very good quality items that I liked, and I was just wearing it. You know what I mean? So shout out to reselling. But yeah, back to traditional reselling, like the limitations of the model. Yes, traditional reselling is really hit or miss. You know what I mean? Like back then, the game was like you have to run a sneaker bot, Supreme bot. You have to run some kind of bot because the competition was crazy. And then you either hit the products and you're able to make money, or you miss and you're out of work. You know what I mean? Like it's a very inconsistent type kind of business model. Like I remember there were times where Supreme would drop their box logos, and my mom would wake me up at 7 a.m. to go to school, and I'm like, Mom, I can't. I need to get this box logo. You know what I mean? I need to stay at home and bought this box logo. So she's like, all right, like I get it. Like son, I see you make fucking thousands of dollars selling whatever this box logo is. So yeah, you can skip school and just get the box logo. And then when 11 a.m. comes around and the box logo drop, I didn't get shit. So I didn't make no money. I stayed at home for no reason. I could have been at school, chilling with the boys, eating lunch at the lunchroom, having a grand old time. But I was sitting at home on my ass, bro, like a dickhead, and I didn't get the box logos, bro. So I'm like, fuck. I'm like, fuck, bro. But yeah, it's very inconsistent. So now let's fast forward to consignment reselling, right? So what I have here is how did you first hear about consignment reselling? Yeah, so consignment reselling was something like I always knew about since like high school. Like everyone in New York City knows what consignment reselling is, right? Because the big consignment platforms set their home base in New York City, like Stadium Goods, Flight Club. They all have intake centers in New York City. So it was very easy for New Yorkers to bring their products to the consignment stores, right? So if you lived in New York and you have a product that people want, like you would just instantly know, like, oh, just take it to Stadium Goods or Flight Club, and they'll sell it for you, and they'll manage to sell it for an insane amount of price that you wouldn't be able to sell for yourself. Like you don't know how they do it. Like, okay, imagine this: I'm a high school kid, right? I have a Yeezy that I would be able to sell for like maybe 300 on StockX. But Stadium Goods will sell it for me for 500 bucks, bro. I don't know how they do it. They take a 20% fee, which is absurd, but if they're able to sell it for 500 bucks, I still get like 400. which is way more than what I would get if I sold it myself or if I sold it on StockX. So everybody in New York City would know, like, oh, if you get a Yeezy, bro, take it to Flight Club, take it to Stadium Goods, right? So that's what I did. I would hit like the off whites, right? I would get the off white Air Force Ones when it dropped on sneakers, the Unions, whatever, and I would just take it to Stadium Goods after school, and they would sell it for me, you know. So I always knew about consignment reselling, and what intrigued me about it was definitely how they're able to sell your products for absurd amount of prices, and also how you didn't have to do any work, you know. All you had to do was take the shoe to the intake store, they inspect it with their like flashlight or whatever, and they're like, all right, you're good, bro. And then it just shows up in your account and you just sit back and relax, and then the money comes in when it sells, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to chase after a seller. You don't have to make any listings. You don't gotta do shit. You don't gotta fulfill it. You don't gotta send it to nobody. Like, life is good, you know what I mean? Yeah, so that was definitely a game changer from traditional reselling. Consignment reselling really changed the game because I believe the business model of consignment reselling, like Stadium Goods and Flight Club, really came out when I was in high school. So it was like the new thing, or I don't know, like maybe I'm talking out my ass, but like I'm pretty sure it came about when just about that time in like 2016, 2017, right? So everybody in New York was just doing that. And yeah, it was a game changer. Now let's talk about how I got back into it, right? Because the traditional reselling method, one of the other downsides is that it stops when you stop. You know, like for example, I went to college and I went to upstate New York for college. I went to Buffalo. So once I was out of New York City, I stopped reselling. And when that happened, I started making no more money. You know what I mean? I started becoming dead, like no more money coming into the bank, basically. That's the issue with traditional reselling. It stops moving when you stop moving. So when I came back to New York City, naturally I started hustling again, right? I started flipping like sneakers, phones, electronics like AirPods, anything. Anything. Just reselling. Just because like, that was something I always did growing up and it was just natural to me. And back in my hometown, bro, all my friends are doing it. Like all of my high school friends are still doing it, right? So you just naturally get back into it. Now, the most important aha moment that I want to talk about is how my friend was doing it. So I had a friend and he was doing consignment reselling full time, you know what I mean? And he really opened my eyes to what's possible. So all my friends are still reselling. So, but like it's the traditional reselling way. But there was just one friend I had that was doing consignment reselling, and he basically showed me his Stadium Goods account, and he was doing this for like years. He's been doing this for years while I was at like college, and he did like seven figures in consignment reselling. He really scaled it up, and I was like, damn, bro, like I didn't know this was possible. Like I didn't know you could do this much money with consignment reselling. And it makes sense, because it's a scalable business model. You don't got to do nothing. All you have to do is focus on sourcing the products. And that's what us resellers are naturally good at. We're naturally good at sourcing products and then being able to sell it later. We're good at commerce. You get what I'm saying? So this business model, consignment reselling, really was a big opportunity for us resellers that are experienced in this niche. So so after I saw that, I was like, well, I already knew how to source products. I knew how to do commerce. And I already knew the Stadium Goods business model because I was doing it in high school. All I need to do now is to scale it. So that's what I was doing. for a good half of 2023. So in 2023, I came back to New York. I landed a tech job and I was working at a tech company, and I was just saving all my money from the job after paying off like rent because I moved out. And then I also had to pay for food. I had to pay for like car insurance, just like bills and taxes and fees or whatever. Like living in New York City is AIDS, bro, because you got to pay like everything. You got to pay like a wake up tax. You wake up and you got to pay tax. You drive to Manhattan, you got to pay tax. You take the subway, you got to pay tax. Like, it's crazy. So I was just saving up my every little dollar I had after my job, after the bills, and I was pouring it into inventory, right? So I was just learning the ropes, learning how to find inventory at a good price. Like all this stuff I had to figure out by myself. Like I had to really do trial and error and like really like figure out how the fuck am I gonna get all this product and scale up to 6, 7 figures, right? So next on my list is basically talking about the challenges. So one of the biggest challenges is to taking your inventory and moving it to the Stadium Goods intake center, right? We already talked about sourcing your products, right? That was a big ass challenge where you had to like learn how to fucking get all the products, right? So we're already over with that. Like we figured that out. Now you have a fuck ton of boxes in your crib, and you gotta figure out how to take all these shoes to Manhattan to Stadium Goods, right? Excuse my language, by the way. I know some of you watching this video are minors, but you're like, you'll be fine. Like a little F word, a little D word, like you're good. But yeah, yeah. So thankfully, I had a car. But when I was first starting out, I would come home after work, like I would I would buy IKEA bags off Amazon and then load up all the shoes in the IKEA bags, carry them, take them to the train, and then take the train all the way to Manhattan. Bro, I was that dickhead on the train, taking up like a whole section of the train. Like, I don't know if most of you are from New York City, but in New York City, right, at the end of the train, there's a two-seater seat for like only two people. I would take up the whole seat, bro. I would have like boxes on the seat, and I would stand in front of the seat with the boxes on my back, and I would just stand there like waiting, like just waiting until I'm at Manhattan, bro. Like a dickhead. And then I would like do it with my friends, right? Because my friends are also resellers. So I would load my car up with the IKEA bags, drive over to my friend's house, and then we'll take the subway from there because like more the merrier. So that me and my friend would take up the entire section, bro. It would just be like you walk in the train, you look over to the end, and you just see me and my friend with IKEA bags on the whole end of the section, just like, bro, what the fuck are these guys doing? But yeah, and then I also drove to the intake center sometimes, but there's no parking there, so like it's really a gamble. I've gotten so many tickets for like just double parking or not parking properly. Like these traffic cops work like the devil, bro. Like especially in Manhattan, bro. Like they definitely like earn a commission for giving out tickets because they work like crazy, bro. I've gotten so many tickets, bro. I hate the New York police traffic department. I love the police, but I hate the traffic department, bro. Every ticket is like $115, bro. So like I would come out the store like mad happy. I dropped everything off, and then I see a ticket on my windshield. I'm like, you know what? I'm not happy no more. That's why I take the train. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was so annoying. So like for those of you out there shipping, bro, thankfully you don't have to deal with that stuff because it's so not worth it, not even worth your time. And then we got dealing with rejections. Something about the intake store in Manhattan is like the employees there are very how do you even say this without being disrespectful? They're dickheads. All right, they're assholes, right? I don't know what it is. Maybe the QC is a lot more strict in person than at the warehouse, but the people at the in-person intake store are very they're very quick to reject your products. It's like their job is on the line. Every pair they check, like they're more likely to say no than say yes, which is weird because every pair that you pass, your company makes more money. Stadium Goods make money selling other people's shoes. So why would they reject shoes when there's nothing wrong with them? You know what I mean? Look, I'll put up a clip here from one of the funny scenarios that I experienced.
Bro, this shit says stained dirty, bro. I don't know if you can see that, but it said this shit was stained dirty, bro. I pulled them out the box, they're brand new, bro. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Why, bro? This shit is brand new, bro. Talking about dirty. Motherfucker, so my
But yeah, the thing about the warehouse, right? When I ship things to the warehouse, almost everything would pass. Literally, I would take rejections from the in-person intake store and ship it to the warehouse and it would pass there. But in person, I would like put it in front of the guy and he would check it and he would be like, "Yeah, nah, it's not good, bro. I'm gonna have to reject these." I would be like, "Why, bro? Like, why? There's nothing wrong with them." He's like, "Yeah, well, the stitching looks a little off and this and that, and the color looks weird. Oh, it smells weird. Like, so we're gonna have to pass." Bro, bro, what's wrong with you? Whatever. It's cool, bro, because I don't have to go in person anymore. I don't gotta deal with none of that bullshit. I don't do nothing. I just sit in my house and the money rolls in. So not trying to sound like a dickhead, but like, bro, I'm so happy I don't got to deal with those guys no more. No, but not all of them are like that. There's only a couple people like that. But yeah, there are some really cool people that work at that store as well that I became friends with, and they look out for you. You know what I mean? Because when you walk in the store, they'll dap you up and they'll be like, "All right, bro, like just wait for me and I'll check your stuff, and then I'll help you pass your stuff because because there's certain people that are just like dickheads, and then there's people that like understands the hustle, like they understand how hard it is for you to carry all this shit to the store just to get it rejected, right? So yeah, there's two sides of the coin. You know what I mean? Next thing I want to talk about is the competition. So back when I was like really hustling, there are other people trying to sell their shoes too. There's other people at the store trying to sell their shoes, and then those people are your competition. They're not your friends. So when I would bring the shoes in, they would like try to like write down the shoes, or they'll try to like see what you got so they can get it themselves, so they can like undercut you, or like get into your niche or something. Like I don't know what it is. But I remember this one time, my friend, he was telling us that he was getting hate messages from this other reseller. He was saying like, "Yo, why are you introducing your friends to Stadium Goods reselling, bro? Like they're undercutting, bro. These guys are fucking up the market." Like he was blaming his losses on us when we just came into the game, bro. Like we just started. Like we probably don't even got the same shoes. So like, you know what I mean? So you just got to deal with competition. You know what I mean? So, but like, I love competing. That's one of the main reasons. That's one of the main goals of being a man is competition, competing. If you want to do consignment reselling in stadium goods, you're gonna have to compete against me because we're all in the same market, right? I gotta sell shoes. You gotta sell shoes. Yeah, I might be making my own competition by teaching you guys how to sell shoes, but I love competition. I love it. I don't really care. So hey, look, the game is really big. There's more. There's enough money to be made for everybody. Okay. Last year, 2024, Stadium Goods did what, like $50 million in revenue, and that's not the ceiling. Don't get it twisted. Like, if more people bring in more shoes, the revenue is going to go up. It's not going to go down. You know what I mean? So right now, at the current level of where it is, of all the people that already know the business model that's already doing this, it's only at 50 million or 40 million, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So if more people come into the game, there's going to be more shoes, the revenue is going to go up, and there's going to be more buyers because there's a bigger selection. You know what I mean? So it's a win-win for everybody. So don't think this is a, like a zero sum game. It's not a zero sum game. But yeah, I'm getting off track. We talked about competition. The next thing I want to talk about is learning to trust, right? So in this business model, if you really want to scale up to like 6, 7 figures, you need to learn how to trust people. The first thing that was hard to trust, one of the challenges was to learning how to trust the selling process, to let go of control of the selling process, right? The thing about Stadium Goods is you give them the shoes with no money back up front, right? It's not like instant gratification. You give them the shoes and that's it. They take the shoes from you. You That's it. You get no money until it sells. You know? So you have to learn how to trust Stadium Goods as a business to sell your shoes for you, if that makes sense. You're basically letting control of doing the selling. And it's hard when you're used to doing everything by yourself, right? The next thing, the next thing, the next challenge is like letting control. Okay. The next challenge is probably letting go. Okay, let me take a time out. Adding on to that, the next thing is to letting go of control of getting the items to Stadium Goods, right? Because at some point you need to stop doing the dirty work. Like I talked about how I used to handle taking the shipments to the Stadium Goods store and doing all the dirty work myself. But then there comes to a point where you're making so much money that you can't be doing this stuff anymore and you need to have someone to do it for you. So what I did was hire a logistics manager that handles all the intake and then shipping it to Stadium Goods on my behalf, right? And this is a really hard step too to get over because you're basically sending thousands of dollars in shoes to someone else that's not you. And anything can happen. They could steal your shoes, the shoes could go missing. You know, a lot of things can go wrong. But here's the thing, you have to let go of the control if you want to scale, right? You have to let go to grow. And being able to trust someone else to take care of it for you is one of the biggest challenges. And then I'm going to leave it at one last thing. I have one more thing on this point that I want to talk about is like letting go of the control of sourcing. At some point, you have to hire someone to buy the shoes for you on your behalf as well. So that's when you have to hire a sourcing specialist to buy the shoes for you. And then you have to let go of controlling the inventory that you buy, if that makes sense. You're going to have to trust someone with your StockX account or your Goat account. You're going to have to reveal your business addresses, the your part of your credit card information. You know what I mean? Like they could order the shoes to themselves. They can steal your credit card information. They could sell your personal business addresses to the dark web. You know, a lot of things can happen, but you just got to learn to trust someone else to handle for you. And I think that's one of the main reasons of being a CEO is learning to delegate and learning to trust. You know what I mean? So those were some of the biggest challenges of transitioning to consignment reselling and then scaling to 6 7 figures, right? I know it was kind of long and I got a little off track, but I get emotional about these things because I'm passionate about these things. And I'm enjoying it. I'm talking to you. We're having a conversation, having a good time. Now let's finally go over the benefits. And I swear this will be the last thing and then you can get out of here. But I want to talk about the benefits. And consignment reselling really starts to work in your favor when you build the systems in place. And my business really went to the next level. From traditional reselling, I probably made like cool 5 figures, maybe like 40, 50K, just doing traditional reselling. But with consignment reselling, it really takes your business to the next level. Now I'm doing like 6 7 figures. In 1 year, I did 6 figures. I'm on track to doing maybe 500K in 2025, and then probably going to scale up to 7 figures when I introduce more people into my company. But that's the thing. When you set the systems in place, you can really take it to the next level. I don't want to sound like a broken record. Another benefit I want to talk about is that it gives you more time, I have more time with my family, I have more time with my loved ones, and I have more time to really work on projects that I want to work on, something that I love to do. If like think about it like this, if I was still hustling and buying products, selling them, listing them, doing meetups and whatever, do you really think I have time to like shoot these videos for you guys? Do you really think I have time to build a community on YouTube, on school, and build out a course? Like, yeah, maybe there are people that can actually do that while like hustling at the same time. But like, I don't know. I don't think I would be able to do it if I was still hustling like that. And the only reason why I'm able to share my knowledge with you guys is because I really bought back my time by learning to trust other people. And then I want to really leave you with how consignment reselling is a really scalable and sustainable business because there's actually systems involved where you can delegate things to people and not have to be the key person to handle everything, you know? It's really a business model that's sustainable. And one final thing I'm excited to share is that you're able to travel more because you have more time to, work. No, because this is a business model that works while you sleep, you have more time to travel. You can go away to a different country. You can go back to college and you're still going to be making money. Like it's working while you're not working. That's the difference between traditional reselling and consignment reselling. Also, also you're able to accumulate a fuck ton of points when you're reselling. You know what I mean? If you have a credit card and you buy stuff on a credit card, you get a lot of points, right? Because let's say you buy $100,000 of inventory on your credit card, you can just imagine how many points that would equal to. And then you can use those points to book airplanes, hotels, rentals in like different countries and different places. I had a video where I went to Japan last year and I went over exactly how I flew to Japan and back for $100. I flew to Japan. I did a round trip to Japan for $100 because I used the points that I earned from consignment reselling, which is crazy. And then this year, I'm gonna go fly back to Asia sometime soon, and then yeah, of course I'm gonna keep you updated. I'm gonna make videos about it. But yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, it's just something that gives you more time to do the things you really love and not work a 9 to 5. Like if I was working on my tech job, I would not be able to do these things. And yeah. Well, that's that. Oh, thank you for watching, guys. My name is Terry, and if you don't know me by now, I am a reseller. I did 6 figures, on track to do 7 figures very soon. If you want to learn exactly how I do consignment reselling step by step, I have a free school community where I teach exactly how to get started. So I have a free course inside of this community where I teach exactly how you can go from 0 to 1,000 or 5,000 a month. And I have a paid community where I teach people exactly how to make $1,000 a day and more, just like I have been doing. I'll be able to take you there faster. You'll get to work with me, and together we'll build a 6-figure business for you. So if you're interested, click the link in the description below, and I'll see you inside the communities. Definitely check out all the free resources. If you're ready to invest in yourself, I'll see you inside of Consign. Thanks. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll see you in the next one.